This is a long-term review of my Parkside quarter-inch hex impact driver. Barely see the model, PDSSA 20 LIA1, so I'm assuming it's probably the first revision. It does apparently 180 Newton meters, which is alright. I mean, it's not powerful, it's not like a half-inch impact driver, but it does the job. I just wanted to demonstrate as well, you don't have to just use it for screwing and stuff like that, although for screwing, especially long screws, this is much better than the drill driver, because as soon as the torque, the hammer action starts, that just drives a screw in so easy. I bought it with a smaller battery. Well, you got to pay for the battery separate, and I got a bigger one, which is like twice the capacity, I think. So basically I use it for all sorts. So as you can see, there's a torque screw there. I just built that table saw fence, which I use this for drilling, screwing, and some other bits, even countersinking. So I'll show you all the stuff I've got. I got a little chuck that'll do up to 8mm. That can go in there. That's quite handy, especially if you want to put drill bits in or something like that. Got one of these things, when you cut a bolt you can shape the end of it, take the edge off. The usual with the screwdriver bits. What I haven't got here is sockets. I use it on quarter-inch drive sockets, 3/8 inch drive sockets and half-inch drive sockets. Okay, it hasn't got the grunt to undo tight bolts like half-inch, but if you're just winding them in or something, or you know, you just moving them, it just speeds it up a little bit. And because it's smaller than a half-inch impact driver, you can get in a lot more spaces. So I've got taps. You have to be a little bit careful with these, because when the torque kicks in, you don't want it to do too much, otherwise you'll end up snapping the bits. Ask me how I know. Takes these with the right shank on them. I even got masonry drill bits, the same shank on them. These are solid ones, unlike some of the cheap ones where they get drill bit and then they just press it in there, which they're shit. I've had them, they're shit. Bought these from AliExpress. They're pretty decent. The only thing I don't like about them is they haven't got the numbers stamped on them, it's printed. So that's a bit annoying. Of course, this isn't going to be as good as a hammer drill, obviously, but if you're drilling into block like that, it is perfectly fine. It's just a bit slower, that's all. So yeah, these things have got a lot of versatility, and of course, if you've got a drill driver, you have to wind the chuck, you know, and unwind it to take stuff out. But this is just pull it back, take it out, put something in, done. Then you're on to the next thing. So I was doing them bits, and also I was using these bits for drilling holes in wood. So I swap between them in very quickly compared to a drill driver. Obviously a drill driver's got its advantages, but I'm not a big fan of battery powered tools, but I use this quite regular because I got so many different things for it. I just use it all the time. I mean, I don't use it every day, maybe once a week maximum. And when I say once, I'm using it quite a lot, you know, for half hour to an hour or something. Run time, that is, not the time I'm doing the job. So the batteries last pretty well. And not too bad. I mean, obviously if you're going to be screwing loads of screws in over and over and over, then it's going to drain drain down fairly quick, but that's why I got second battery, so that if I'm doing something like that, then it survives. But I tell you what I did do, I was taking a load of metal rivets, not the standard type ones, these were big rivets that joined two pieces of metal together and the mechanical system. And I used this battery, and I must have drilled out at least 50 of them, and they were like that big, and I was drilling holes through the middle and so I could punch them out. And this battery lasted all the way through. It just died just as I was finishing the last couple. So the battery life is pretty good. It doesn't really get hot, it gets warm, but all cheap tools do, but I'm glad it doesn't get hot. It's not very loud, you know. So if you see one of these in Lidl's, grab one, because they're decent. They're pretty decent, they're pretty impressive. I mean, when I bought this, it was £20 for the body. The small batteries were £12.99. The larger batteries were £19.99. The single charger was £12.99, which I didn't buy. I got the double charger, that was £19.99. So they're fairly cheap, and the thing is, if your batteries go, you just buy another one. Unlike something like DeWalt and all that, they cost you a fortune for the batteries. That's where they get you on the batteries. I mean, okay, this might not last as long as a DeWalt or a Milwaukee or whatever, but for home use, you know, it's pretty decent. So it's definitely worth the money.